Now, our special guest today is a singer-songwriter who sold over 10 million records worldwide, won a Brit Award, and he's even had lunch with Sir Elton John. I bet he can't remember what he ate. Please welcome Tom Odell.
Great.
Tom, how are you, Tom?
Yeah, thank you.
Can you remember what you had with Sir Elton? Were you just like a little bit kind of intimidated?
It was on a very strangely long table.
What, were you one end and him the other? Was it in his mansion?
We were scrunched up one end, but I think it was a bit of fish. Yeah.
Bit of fish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple of fish fingers. It's fine or not.
So listen, so all that 10 million records, Brit Awards, Ivan Novello's, lunch with Sir Elton, and you're still only 28.
Yeah, but we have short careers, us pop stars. It's all over by you're 30.
Well, it's not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but no, I feel very fortunate. But I really love what I do.
Yeah. Well, you're very good at it. That's why.
Yeah. But I'm very excited to be here.
Are you? Good.
Yes.
Well, we're excited to have you here.
I watched this show and I'm very nervous about the heaven and hell.
Yeah.
And but I also love food, so
well,
it's great to be on.
In the hands of fate today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, what is your idea of food heaven?
So I really found the heaven bit hard. I don't know if most people find the heaven bit hard.
No, generally not, Tom.
Really?
Everyone's got something they like.
No, it's just there's so much choice.
Oh, I see. Sorry,
yeah.
narrowing it down.
Yeah, narrowing it down. Yeah. So I've gone for because I love apple crumble. You're laughing.
Oh, well, I was sniggering. I'm sorry. But it's quite, I mean, of all the things you love, it's quite basic.
I know it is quite a basic thing.
Comfort food.
Yes, I suppose.
Yeah, apple crumble with custard. But so I've chosen stewed apples because I think it's got to be an ingredient.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's proper rock star food.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about hell?
Hell is mushrooms.
What is that?
I despise mushrooms.
Strong words.
Quite a few people hate mushrooms.
Yeah.
Is it a texture thing?
I think it is. My missus hates them.
Oh, yeah, I can't. I really don't like them.
Okay, it's kind of taken a very serious tone now. All of a sudden. Let's move on. Right, now listen, if you get heaven, it's going to be cooked apples. So I'm going to fill a pastry tart cooked with apples, chopped pecans, and a rich filling of butter, sugar, and vanilla. I'm going to bake it till it's golden and serve with a Calvados caramel sauce and clotted cream. But if Tom gets hell, I'm going to make sautéed wild mushrooms with leeks and thyme. I'm going to add arborio rice, white wine, a porcini mushroom stock, and parmesan. And I can serve it with some game breasts roasted in truffle.
Oh my
brandy.
God.
What?
Tom's face, the poor man.
That is delicious.
Also, you added game.
I know. Well, that was another one of yours, wasn't
It's
it?
like just to stick the knife in.
Yep. But as we're not live today, there's no online vote. So what Tom gets is in the hands of fate. So stay tuned to find out what happens. Right, should we go on with the cooking? Right, come on.
Let's go.
Let's go. So Tom, you are a fan of Indian food.
Yes.
Right, tuck in.
Thank you so much.
I made those. They're a bit thick, apparently.
Do I just sort of dip these in?
I think so. What's the idea with these? Oh, they're crumbly.
Yeah, but this should go thinner, that's why.
Oh, do you want some, Rosie?
Oh, yes, please, thank you.
Sorry.
Huh?
Oh, delicious.
Delicious. Matt Tebbutt made it, so it has to be delicious, right?
It is, exactly. But it's like a very sort of very short crust.
It is short crust. And it's, of course, more winter food. So when I grew up in Rajasthan, for example, I would be eating dal in the morning before going off to school. So it kept you sustained for a long time.
Yeah.
And winter can be cold. It's cold, but it's only -1 and 0 in that area. But it's dry cold, so you need something really cold because it shakes you up completely.
This is exceptional.
It's good, huh?
Really good.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's better than the hell.
Yeah.
All right, we haven't got there yet.
So comforting.
Well, we have lots of grains, lots of pulses, lots of savoury flavours, so I've turned to the grain for our drink. We're having a beer by Mikkeller. This is called Stick Your Finger in the Soil, which apparently means take some time to think. I don't really understand It's a Danish beer, so there's an idiom behind that. Mikkeller is the maker.
There's an idiom behind it.
Yeah, well, there's a kind of an idea that doesn't kind of translate through language, I think. But it's one of those beers that's packed full of lovely hops. He's used some oatmeal in there as well to flake out the texture and get it a bit more fluffy.
Oh, I like that.
Do you? I'm glad.
Very
fruity, though.
Do you always
Very
carry your
fruity,
beers
lots
like that?
Well, just when I'm showing them to
down the
camera,
pub with your
very
friends,
delicate.
I mean, make it look natural.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the fruitiness comes from the hops. You've got 2 hops in there, Citra and Simcoe, both from the USA. Loads of flavour, loads of tropical kind of refreshment to go with the savoury dish. And it's the sort of thing you might have, to be honest, if you are having a breakfast. Maybe you wouldn't have a glass of wine, maybe you might have a cheeky bit.
breakfast beer?
Well, yeah,
curry and a beer for breakfast.
It's one of the...
It's quite banana-y.
Quite banana-y. Yeah, there's a lot of tropical
Why
fruit
don't
in
you
there.
try it with the food, Ollie?
I would
It
absolutely.
works with your,
Do you like
with your
beer, Tom?
Yeah,
You keen on beers?
I can do beer.
You can do beer?
Ollie, dig in.
Yes.
I do like that.
I love these beers, and I love the dishes with a little bit of spice, a little bit of aromatic flavour.
It is lovely, that.
It's cracking,
Yeah.
cracking beer.
Is it a session beer?
It's over 4%, so technically you wouldn't have too many on, but yes, it's sessionable in flavour because it's so refreshing.
Delicious.
Pity it's not British, no?
Well, he's a brewer that brews all over the world, and he's from Denmark. He brews in kind of different breweries, depending on what he's trying to go for.
And Rosie, remind us what you're doing later?
So it's a muscovado meringue with cardamom custard, especially for Tom, and caramelised oranges.
Very nice.
This is great.
Right.
Really enjoying it.
Good. Thanks for that, Rick. I love sideways. You'd like it as well, don't you?
It's great film, yeah.
Do you like Pinot? I do. Anyway, so this next recipe, I'm going to use Pinot Noir in a butter sauce, and I'm going to make a little rack of venison. So I'm going to sear that off, some Swiss chard or rainbow chard here, and some wet walnuts. Does that sound all right?
Sounds delicious.
You're quite into your food, aren't you?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I'm an atrocious cook.
That doesn't matter. That's why we're
I'm
here.
very good at eating it, not very good at cooking it.
That's fair enough. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah.
So look, let's talk about Jubilee Road. This is your 3rd studio album.
Yes.
And this, I read, is the album that you think you were kind of destined to write.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't go back on it.
Yeah. I think it feels like the album I've been trying to make since I sort of started writing songs and really wanted to make an album when I was sort of 15, 16 years old, so 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of it, and it's loads of piano on it. It's very much about the words and the songwriting. And, it's been great, and I've been touring it, like, we toured all over the UK and all over Europe.
And how has it been received?
I think good. I mean, it's weird. It's quite hard to... It's funny, I think what I've noticed, it takes almost another album to realise how the last one's gone down.
Okay.
Because it's all quite fresh in people's minds.
And this is quite sort of stripped back, isn't it?
It's a bit more stripped back than the second one, yeah.
Yeah.
But I recorded it all in East London, which is where I live, and what inspired the album in the first place. It's inspired by a road I lived on.
What was it or is it Jubilee Road?
That's not the actual
right.
It's
name.
Jubilee Gate, isn't it? Isn't it Jubilee Gate? Or is it...
That's right, yeah. No, but it was actually inspired by a gate that I used to walk beneath.
Right, I'm just going to get the venison out of the oven. I'm going to put this one in. So I'm going to sear it off first, all over, and then bring it out and let it rest. Do you like it kind of pink?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Great.
That's good. Now, we've got one of the tracks from the album.
Great.
Yeah. So let's hear that now. You're a fan of this, Ollie?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I really like the album. Feels incredibly intense, actually, emotionally. I was going to ask you. It feels like there's a lot of personal stuff in there. Have people spotted themselves in your songs ever?
A little bit, yeah. Like my old. There's a song on this album where I mention an old neighbour who lives on my road, and I kind of actually told my neighbour it was about him. But there's this line in the song where he's sweeping the leaves, and I did actually find him sweeping the leaves in front of my house the other day, which I thought was like, he was kind of doing it half as a joke, but
It's
yeah.
quite flattering for this.
Yeah.
I would have thought. I'd be very flattered.
I think it's a weird one. It doesn't happen very often though, because I think people are quite sort of shy. Because if it might not be about them.
Yeah.
And also, you come across as...
So they don't want to be presumptuous.
Yeah. I have had a couple of times when someone said, "Oh, the song's about... Is this song about me?"
The song's about
and it wasn't.
So what'd you say?
I was like, no.
That's good.
And then
You just lied to them.
forever.
And then it's like really awkward for a moment.
Wow,
I
they went away feeling well.
Yeah. I think that what's that song, Carly Simon? You're so vain.
Yeah.
You probably think this song's about you. It's so genius, that song.
Right, let's just look at this. So my venison is out. That's resting nicely. That'll be nice and pink. So this is my Raymond shards, just shredded up. I'm going to saute that with the walnuts and a little bit of oil in it. In here, so this is going to be my red wine butter sauce. So I'm bringing down some red wine vinegar with some spices. So there's black peppercorns in there. There's a bit of thyme, there's bay leaf, and there's a star anise. And there's a bit of red wine vinegar as well. So bring the Pinot right the way down, and then I'm going to Monty that with a whole world of butter as well.
Is all that butter going in there?
Well, as much as I see fit.
Right.
Right, so we'll get on with that. Now listen, so Jubilee Road, from there. This has taken you on tour. You're away for the rest of this year on tour as well. You've done some of it, haven't you?
Done some of the touring, yeah. We did first part of America and UK and a bit of Europe last year.
Yeah.
And then we're going off on a really, really long run now for like...
I mean, is that quite daunting?
No, I kind of like it. There's a real sense of camaraderie with the band I'm with and the crew.
Yeah.
We're all on this bus, and it's kind of like we're all in it together.
So like Spinal Tap?
I mean, there's so many moments that are like Spinal Tap. It's funny because my dad came and saw me at a venue the other day in Amsterdam. We were playing this quite big venue.
Yeah.
We sort of came in,
Yeah.
and I was like, I was feeling quite cool and like, you know, I always want to. I think every son kind of wants to impress their dad a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was like right stage time, and I could hear the crowd sort of like
chanting.
Yeah, and I can hear it. It's exciting. Like just walking down the stairs and just walk the complete wrong way, and end up just like in this sort of cupboard type thing. And you go, where am I? And then we just sort of go to the door, and the door's locked, and then you're sort of stuck in this room. Honestly, the Spinal Tap references. I don't know if it's just me as well. Maybe it's just because I'm a complete fool.
Spinal Tap aside, though, Tom, who are the artists who've inspired you?
I mean, sort of a lot, endless list. But I guess quite strange for my age because I'm 28. But I'm very obsessed with like 70s music.
Because weren't you obsessed with Billy Joel and then you ended up playing Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did like 5 dates with him and played Madison Square Garden a couple of times, which was amazing.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, your album. I was listening to your album, and there was touches of Don Henley in there.
Oh yeah, I love Don Henley.
Oh really? Oh, phew.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which way that was going to go.
Don Henley. Yeah. No, I don't know. I guess I'm quite. I'm obsessed with like songs, like songwriting, and that sort of craft of songwriting. And,
Yeah.
And just, I guess I just think words and melody and I don't know. I'm just sort of endlessly fascinated by it. And I'd say I'm less interested in sort of technology and. You know, so...
And that's presumably why you prefer to sort of, you know, sit there with your piano, with your band.
It's what makes me deeply unfashionable.
Or you could say timeless.
Yeah.
Depending on what spin you want to put on it.
That's a kinder way of putting it.
Thank you.
I go for the former.
But it's true. I mean, you know, I guess it's very easy to fall in and out of fashion. I mean, it's not dissimilar to somebody like Ed Sheeran, who's just him and his guitar.
Yeah.
It's obviously that very clever foot pedal that he has. But it must be harder, I would have thought, for guys like you to sort of get your music across in that sort of very kind of, you know, singular form.
Maybe, yeah. I think what I'm always sort of, I guess, like surprised by to some degree is that I think people like. The power of just someone and their instrument, I think, never seems to sort of go away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think hearing someone just play their guitar and sing is sometimes infinitely more sort of moving than hearing a
And
giant.
is there one artist or one? I mean, you grew up listening to Elton John, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, would there be kind of one song that you'd look at and you go, do you know what? I wish that was mine.
Well, I got to cover it actually at the end of last year. We were raising money for children in need. It was what I did on Piano Man.
Yeah.
I genuinely like when people do covers. They say it's their favourite song. It's genuinely probably my favourite song of all time. I just think it's genius. The way the story unfolds.
It's a beautiful song. Are there things that resonate with you?
Yeah,
in that song.
Because I've been that
with a tip jar.
Yeah, I've done the sort of jobbing piano player.
Yeah. That must be quite brutal, I would have thought.
No, I was always just surprised that anyone wanted to hear me play.
Right.
Still am to some degree.
Well, that's quite a nice sort of attitude to have, I think. That
so.
probably keeps you quite grounded.
Yeah, it keeps you sort of pleasantly surprised always. This looks really delicious.
Do you have a family to keep you grounded? I do.
I do. And they definitely keep me grounded,
There you go.
which is important. So,
Anyway, see if you're pleasantly surprised by this.
I hope so.
So do I.
This is great.
What?
I can't believe this is called work for me. I get to come on TV and just like have food and beer.
I know, it's good,
nice
isn't it?
conversation.
That's why we do it every week.
It's so great.
It's cracking.
Yeah, it's amazing. You could absolutely have a Pinot Noir, you've used one in the sauce, but do you know what, with venison, there's a great variety that is a bit more beefed up called Primitivo from Italy. Yeah. It's a slam dunk with venison, and that's what I'd be pouring.
Puglia, I think.
From Puglia, exactly, yeah. Oh, lovely stuff.
I went there in this last
Puglia,
summer.
it's a lovely place, isn't it?
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'll go there.
Really?
Yeah.
You go every year?
Love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what will I be making for Tom at the end of the show? We'll talk about holidays in a bit. Will it be his food heaven, brown butter, apple and pecan tart? If so, I'm going to fill a pastry tart with cooked apples, chopped pecans, and a rich filling of butter, sugar, and vanilla. I'm going to bake it till it's golden and serve with Calvados caramel sauce and clotted cream. Or will it be hell, which will be wild mushroom risotto with roast game? So I'm going to saute wild mushrooms with leeks and thyme, and then add arborio rice, white wine, and porcini mushroom stock and parmesan, and then I'm going to serve with game breasts roasted in truffle and brandy. And as we're not live today, there's no viewer vote, but you'll find out what he gets at the end of the show. And will Tom get his food heaven brown butter, pecan and apple tart, or his food hell wild mushroom risotto with roast game? Find out later in the show. Okay, let's get on with the cooking. Rosie, so we're doing a meringue, yeah?
Yes, muscovado meringue.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're going to use the egg whites from the eggs for the meringue and the yolks for the custard.
For the custard. Tom loves a bit of custard, don't you, Tom?
Well, that's what I was thinking when I did this recipe, Tom.
My favourite kind of custard is you're not allowed to say brown.
Shop bought ones. Yeah.
Shop bought.
I'm going to change your mind about that.
Do you know it doesn't contain eggs?
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was invented because the chap who came up with it, his wife was allergic to eggs.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, right. So let's.
And these eggs are so beautiful. The colour of the yolks is just gorgeous. I think they're Burford Browns.
Burford Browns.
Love them.
Yes.
And I love a pavlova, even in winter. I think a lot of people think it's just a summer dish, but we're using beautiful bright citrus, and the muscovado has got such an amazing flavour. It's less refined than normal sugar, and it's got a real strong molasses flavour, and that's just such lovely warm caramel notes, which are great with the oranges at this time of year.
So how long does the custard get infused for, Rosie?
So we infuse the custard with cardamom, just to give it a beautiful aromatic flavour, for about an hour.
Okay.
So as soon as you've heated up the cream and the milk, you want to put the cardamom in and then cool it down in some ice water and leave it for about an hour.
Okay.
So I'm going to start whisking the egg yolks here. And it's really important when you're making meringue that you use a spotlessly clean bowl. You need it to be really clean.
Bit of lemon.
Lemon, yeah, and cream of tartar helps with that as well. And we've got about a teaspoon of vanilla essence as well going in there.
Okay. And is this recipe in your new book, Rosie?
It's not in my new book,
Okay.
but there are a couple of pavlova recipes in the book. And the book is really about showing people how to unlock the flavour in their home cooking. So that's the focus. It's kind of hints and tips and tricks, shortcuts, but also there's a really strong DIY ethos through the book.
Right.
So there's a whole section called Secret Ingredients, which is sort of things that you make yourself, which should then feed into all the other recipes.
But all it's sort of accessible.
All accessible, yeah. And I'm trying to kind of demystify and make it approachable. So it's really aimed at sort of showing people it's not that hard.
Yeah. So this custard, we're just over the heat, just thicken it gently till it coats, but you've got that corn flour in, so that's going to sort of bind it together and stop it from curdling, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then I guess it's important, so we let it cool. Is that right?
Yes, then you want to let the custard cool because you're going to fold it through the cream.
Okay.
What I'm doing here is I'm just sort of mixing the muscovado with the sugar because sometimes muscovado can be a bit moist and you don't want massive lumps of muscovado through your meringue. You want it to be incorporated in the rest of the sugar.
So Rosie, over here, nearly whipped this cream. What was the other ingredient? Kefir?
Kefir.
Okay, and why are we using that?
It's cultured milk and it's got a beautiful sour flavour.
Yeah.
Also, because this is quite rich, we've got the double cream and we've got the custard, which is sweet, and this gives it a lovely kind of acidic edge. You could use natural yogurt.
You could use yogurt,
yeah,
right?
or buttermilk if you can't find kefir.
Right.
So this is the consistency we're looking for the meringue, just really beautiful, glossy, smooth, and lovely and puffed up. So I'm going to put this onto the baking
And you want me
sheet.
to mix the custard with all this cream, right?
Yeah, if you could fold the custard
into
through
the
cream, that would be
Okay, no worries.
great.
And don't forget, if you want to try Rosie's recipe or any other studio dishes, then visit the website bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. Lovely mix, actually.
Okay.
Right, okay, so that's that.
I'm going to start loading this up with the meringue.
Tom, do you pick up a lot when you go travelling on your tours and what have you? Do you ever eat out and you go, oh, I'm going to remember this one?
Yeah, and it's one of the real, like, great privileges of, I think, being able to tour the world and, you know, we always try and eat the local cuisine.
Anything that sticks out?
The last show of the European tour we did, we were in Barcelona and we went out for tapas. I mean, they just Spain is just incredible, isn't it? No, I tried a lot of food.
So, Rosie, this caramel.
Yeah.
So, light brown, touch
light brown,
of...
dark muscovado and orange juice all in there at the same
orange
time.
juice as well. Okay, let's get one of those in.
And then this is the fun bit of making the meringue because you can really play around with swirling it and making it look amazing. And if you wanted for this, you could actually, you could do individual ones as well, but I think it's always kind of, there's something really lovely about serving up a big, fluffy pavlova at the table. It's kind of celebration. So I'm going to put these in the oven now.
Okay.
And this is a quick cook pavlova. So I call this marshmallow meringue because they've still got a lovely softness to them. I don't actually like chalky meringue for pavlova. I like it to have some, some nice softness that sort of collapses into the cream and the custard. So 40 minutes in the oven at 150 fan, and then you let some steam out and just leave them in there to cool in the oven.
Righto. Okay, so oranges.
Great. So 3 oranges sliced up and peeled.
Here's your caramel.
And the caramel, and we've put a little bit of rosemary in there as well, because rosemary with oranges is just absolutely delicious. And then this is really quite classic oranges and caramel. And you pour the caramel over the oranges and just let them steep for as long as you can, really.
Okay. And that'll, when the caramel's warm, it'll pull all those juices out.
Yeah, and it just tastes absolutely incredible with the oranges.
Right, okay,
Beautiful.
so should we start building it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move that aside. Yeah, do you want me to get this off?
Yeah. I think probably this one on the bottom.
That one on the bottom?
Yeah, because it's a bit bigger.
Okay. Cool.
And it should just peel off as well, gently. There we go. And then we're going to build it with the custard. That looks gorgeous. I mean,
Is that
that's beautiful.
stiff enough?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Over to you.
Lovely. And then start piling it on. They just look really nice.
Yeah, make some beautiful jam with that.
Okay.
Is that a kumquat?
I think are we done?
No,
with
that's the
No, we're going to do one more here.
Okay.
what we call Cape gooseberry, which
Cape
is my
Cape
Gooseberry.
gooseberry.
Cape gooseberry.
Or physalis. Physalis.
They were very big in the 80s, dipped in chocolate.
This is a little bit retro, this dessert. It's a little bit 80s.
Bit tangy though sometimes.
And this beautiful dark caramel. I'm just going to drizzle some of this
looks like a
syrup
mini
over here
orange.
as well.
Yeah,
You
that's
get
it,
round
yeah,
one.
You tried these?
yeah.
Good crack. Okay.
And then some more custard on top.
Reminds me of my grandma. I think she quite like these.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. You made them in a
That's
jam.
what I'm going for.
I know it was you, Rosie. I think it was the Cape
That's not
Gooseberry.
too tangy. That was perfect.
The Indian ones are.
And
They're from
try and
India.
get navel oranges for this because they're seedless and they've got a really lovely sweetness. I just think oranges are overrated, underrated.
Overrated.
Actually, they're
So do I.
underrated.
There they are again.
No, but that's what I mean. They're sort of kind of considered prosaic now, aren't they? But at this time of year, they bring so much brightness and flavour. And
Yeah, it's all a bit dull at this time.
What's the difference between a satsuma and a...
Oh, really?
I'm on Saturday Kitchen, I can finally ask this question.
And a mandarin.
Satsuma's much
Satsuma,
smaller.
a tangerine and a mandarin, to me, they're all the same. Does anyone know?
They're just
One of them breaks into segments.
Do they all-
That's the mandarin, or yeah, breaks into segments. This one
Yeah.
will not open up into segments. You got to peel it.
Right.
Yeah. So the mandarin, you push your thumb inside and you peel it automatically, and then you just open it up and you get each single segment.
So it's
coming
process.
out. No, of course, the flavor also is different.
Flavour's also different.
Rosie, it looks amazing. Remind us what you call it.
Muscovado meringue pavlova with caramelised oranges and cardamom custard.
Delicious. Okay. Right.
Oh my
There you
God.
go.
What a treat.
Good luck. Good
How long
luck
shall one wait?
cutting that one up.
Yeah, it's,
This is where it all explodes.
it does. Yeah, it does get messy at this point, but I think that's part of the fun. So here we go, Tom.
Fun with food.
Fun with food.
What are we drinking?
Tom's already having his heaven, isn't it?
that?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that. Yeah.
Heaven is a place on earth.
Good song, that.
Yes.
That was the tune to my late 80s, I think.
Was it Belinda Carlisle?
Yeah, I used to love
I
it.
wrote
Excuse fingers, they are
a couple of songs
clean.
with the guy that wrote that, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, he's called Rick Knowles.
Bit of extra custard for Tom.
Right, there you go,
Super
Tom.
colour.
Guys, are so kind.
By Torres, huh?
Yes. Are you a fan of Torres?
Yes.
Oh, I like that. What's that?
This is Torres. It's the oldest family-owned winery in Spain. It's Floralis, which is a sweet muscat. They use muscat of Alexandria, which is a table grape, has a very orangey aroma.
Yeah, it does.
It's sweet, it's unctuous, with all the textures that go on in this. It's absolutely sumptuous. It feels like always like a treat to me.
Almost mandarin, isn't it?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Right.
This is delicious.
You like
There you
it?
go.
Really good.
It's actually, you could put a bit of sherry or masala in the caramel as well,
Yes.
just to make it extra boozy.
I think the sweet wines of Spain actually are just so good. Sweet sherries and all sorts of things that people should be embracing with dessert. I think, yeah, PX wonderful. I think sweet wines in general get a bit of a bad press, but when they're this
Not with me,
delicious-
they don't.
No, you love it. In fact, I'm going to pour myself a little glass. I can't believe
what
I missed
percentage is that?
That's a very good question. I think it's 15% from memory. It's
it's
fortified with brandy.
So it's a bit stronger than a normal wine.
Yes, yeah, you wouldn't necessarily drink a lot of it, but because it's so intense, a little goes a long way. Matt?
Can I ask why... I don't know why I put my hand up. Can I ask why it's always in smaller bottles?
It's because a little goes a long way. If they sold a huge bottle of it, this wouldn't last that long. I mean, once you've opened it, I think you want to kind of have enough to serve. Sweet wines tend to be in smaller denominations as well because they are quite expensive to make, so it helps brings the cost down. Under 10 quid for this, cracking value for money.
and
for
this
the
is-
quantity. Yeah, under 10 quid.
This would be the
However-
quantity you would have.
I would have that, and then probably I might have another cheeky
You might
glass, to
have
be honest,
another
Tom. Yeah, I might have to.
However, you do get some dessert wines in full bottles, don't
You do, you get, I mean, so 10, they can do that, absolutely, but then you can age them and you can open them for
Okay.
special occasions and share them out, but you enjoying that?
Brown sugar.
It just makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Doesn't
so
it?
much more flavour. I don't know why you wouldn't make a meringue with muscovado.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of brown sugar.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I will cut you a slice, Matt. I've sort of left you
No,
out.
I'm all right. Don't worry about me. I've got things to...
Sure, I like being the judge of this challenge.
Oozing with melted cheese. All that
Wow.
melted cheese is just oozing on the plate.
Oh, what have you done now? Put chutney with it. Right, let's...
I've got a
Ollie.
tomato
You're
chili
too kind
chutney
to
with
me.
it.
There you go.
You really are.
Tuck
all
in.
right.
Tuck in. Sorry, what's in yours?
So I've got Parma ham with some Stilton.
Yeah, a little bit of brown butter I noticed there.
Yes, brown butter. Because I like that. I like that flavor.
Yeah,
Chili,
yeah.
salt, pepper. And that's about it, really.
Okay, is that all?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all.
I have to say,
Tom's really tucking in.
it looks like a cracking omelette, actually.
That's hot.
Wonderful.
He's loving that.
Right, Rosie, let's talk about you.
Yeah.
What's going on there, then?
It's just got so much melted cheese in it that the egg is a little rare. It's
A rare egg.
It's a little on the rare side, yeah. And there's
no
some,
Fabergé, is
some
it?
ham and nice cheddar cheese for you, Ollie.
What if it kills me?
You don't have to test it.
No,
it's
I-
all right. You
I
can,
think
you
it's
can
a-
award the golden spatula.
If you're a
Try a bit
footballer,
of
you can
the
do
ham.
eggs in the morning.
You don't
Ham
have
might be
to,
okay.
Tom, if you don't
No,
want
No,
to.
I'm up for it.
I
And
won't
also,
be.
it would only be a fair judgment if I
It's
tried
very
both.
good of you. I wouldn't have
Very
done
true.
I like that. I like that.
that. Better than me.
I like that. I like that, man.
I think
That's heroic.
Where's it going, Tom?
I have to give it to Silas.
Thank you very much.
as much as.
I'm sorry.
You can have that on us. So will Tom get his food heaven brown butter, apple and pecan tart, or his food hell wild mushroom risotto with roast game? And we're going to find out after we join Nigella Lawson, who is finally... OK, thanks, Nigella. Time to find out whether Tom is getting his food heaven or food hell. So, Tom, food heaven, you love apples, stewed apples, things like that. So I was going to make you a delicious apple tart with caramel, nice Calvados caramel.
Delicious.
Clotted cream, delicious. Or it could be food hell, mushrooms. So we're going to do a mushroom risotto with game, because you don't like game either.
Disgusting.
Now, listen, there's no public vote today, so Tom's fate will be decided by choosing one of our last remaining Christmas sweets here in the Saturday Kitchen selection box. So if you pick a sweet, right?
Yes.
One of them's going to be blue inside, one of them is going to be red inside. Blue for heaven, red for hell. Are you ready?
Okay.
Tip out your sweets. Pick one, Tom. Oh, hello.
All right.
Tense moments.
Oh! Let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Ollie, you get
Thank
one.
you.
I get one.
Hell.
Right.
Hell.
I got
Okay.
a blue one.
We got a blue one there.
I got hell.
Oh,
You've got a hell.
What'd you get, Rosie?
sorry.
You've got a red.
A lot of hells in there.
There's
There's a blue,
a heaven.
there's heaven.
What you got?
Red.
Red.
Sorry,
red.
Tom.
Red.
You
Solidarity.
got a red. So there you go, 50-50. Right, let's go and cook some game then. Sorry about that, Tom. I don't know why you don't like it. Have you had a bad experience with it?
What with game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got attacked by a pheasant.
You got attacked by a pheasant?
No, I didn't. No, I don't know. It's just a bit strange, isn't it?
Irrational.
Feels mushrooms are. I think it's the texture I find
Really?
to be.
I mean, you got this kind of, it's like a fear in your face, actually.
I think I'm ramping it up a bit for TV.
No, you're not.
Right, so Rosie, you're going to sort the mushrooms out. Cyrus, you've got the...
Do I get to do a bit of cooking?
You can if you like.
Yeah.
Do you want to do some of this? Right, so these are the various game birds. So we've got a mallard here, we've got a little pigeon breast, we've got a bit of partridge, and there's a bit of pheasant here as well.
All the game.
So we've got all the game. The mallard is pretty high, actually.
Is it?
Yeah,
Already?
it is. It is.
Yeah, it flies quite high above the sea anyway.
So, Tom, if I get it right, the career in music really kind of took off because you got fired as a barman. Is that true?
Wow, pick his high point, Ollie.
Well, no, it's just intriguing.
No.
It's how life kind of throws it at you.
I had lunch with Elton John.
It's a good story, but no, I was working as a barman to fund my music career.
Okay.
I was actually.
Sure.
I did a lot of bars work, and I managed to get myself a job as a cocktail waiter.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
But I didn't know how to make cocktails, and so they fired me. But I stayed there for months.
Were you playing the piano?
No, I was making cocktails.
Was this after you were fired? You stayed there for months?
No, this was before I was fired.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And yeah,
Bring that thing in.
I was just basically ruining people's cocktails every night.
Yeah, they're expensive things to ruin.
They are.
Yeah. So when you were doing gigs as a kind of like a jobbing musician,
yes,
was that quite tough?
I mean, I still feel like a jobbing musician.
Really?
Yeah. No, I think for me it was always exciting. I was always just, you know, surprised if it was even 10 people in the room. Yeah. I was always happy.
More time in there.
Can I do something here?
You can keep an eye on those. You can,
what do you use this?
yes, you can. I mean, they're not going to take long. That's nearly there.
Right.
That's nearly there. I'll tell you what, there are mushrooms in there. Thank you, Rosie.
Oh, great.
And let's finish that off with a touch of butter. So we turn the heat right down. I'll tell you what, if I give you a spoon...
Which is swell the butter.
Start sort of basting those gently. So over here, so this risotto, right? So the nice thing about risotto is that you won't actually... multitasking time. You won't actually sort of get that mushroom texture.
Right,
You get all the flavour of the wild mushroom.
Right.
But it's a nice one to try, really, if you're not into mushrooms, I think.
Yeah,
You've got all the flavour. So in here, we've got some chicken stock, but there's also some dry porcini. That's going to give you masses and masses of flavour as well.
There's a lot of mushrooms, though.
There is a lot of mushrooms.
You haven't held back.
No. So then in with, you ready?
Yeah, go on.
So in with the rice.
Shall I turn this again?
If you prod them a bit, hang on, you should look. That's still, that needs a bit of help.
That needs a bit of help, right?
So we'll do that. So that's ready. So if you take those out, put that on the plate. No, that one, not that one there.
Okay.
The little pidgey one. So we'll let those rest. Okay. Let's open those up there. If you keep an eye on those.
Okay.
Shall you put some wine in?
So then in with the wine, please. Yeah. Have you ever made risotto?
No.
It's a good one to do, actually.
Yeah.
It's a good one if you're not sure about, you know.
I make a dish called the Delicious.
I've heard about this. And what is that?
It's tagliatelle, pesto,
Right.
prawns,
Yeah.
fresh tomatoes, and chili.
I love that you named it after yourself.
Yeah, you know.
So
All about
Is there a song with it? Is there a song with it?
There's not a song with it.
Yeah,
there
they
could
need
be.
its own anthem. Tom, I was quite inspired that when you were beginning, going to open spots, lugging your keyboard around, it didn't obviously always go well, but you were so dedicated and you persevered.
It was at the end, yeah?
Yes, yeah. It always did. It was a very heavy keyboard I used to drag around Brighton. Yeah, it was. But I just, like I said earlier, I was always just so pleased and sort of like chuffed that I could play my songs to people, and occasionally people wouldn't listen, but it's kind of the same now, to be honest with you.
What's your jacket, Tom?
Oh, God.
Right. Just a little bit of brandy. Let that calm down. Burn off the alcohol. There's a little bit of balsamic vinegar there. Rosie, could you pass me that oil? It's a little bit of, just a splash of truffle oil in there. So you've got a bit of sweetness, a bit of richness, and then we'll turn that off. And then we'll put those back in there.
Well, I don't know why I'm still holding them.
It makes you feel involved, Tom.
Yeah.
Right, OK. And then we'll put that there and let those rest.
That looks good, doesn't it?
Rest with the juices.
That's good.
OK. So back to the risotto. So this gets stirred. It takes quite a lot of stock. OK, you can put them down. Right.
So then, feeding it, so.
Exactly. So then we'll swap in that one there.
Yes.
That we've made, and we'll heat this up. And then at the end, we're going to finish this. I always finish them with a good amount of parmesan, a little bit of cream, a little pinch of salt, some more butter, and a squeeze of lemon.
Right.
And those things are always kind of there to
Yeah.
give it this kind of final boost. So we'll bring that up now. Right.
Tom, have you got a destination on tour you're most excited about visiting? Any country, any place?
We're doing this Asian tour in March, and we're going to a few places I've never been. We're going to Seoul in South Korea.
The food there will be incredible.
Yeah, and Tokyo. Well, I've been before, but it's an amazing place. And where else are we going? Shanghai, I think, which I've been before. And they're really interesting places. Really interesting for food as well.
OK, Rosie, could you pass me the bits and pieces? So let's have some butter. So,
Shall I
in
just
with
cut the
some
game up a
butter,
little bit?
if you could, please, Cyrus. I'm going to turn this off now.
Yeah, here you go.
So I'm going to stir in some butter, a touch of cream, just to give it a bit of richness.
Do you want some more palm?
I do, please. Thank you very much. So, oh, sorry, Cyrus. Good amount of parmesan. And then ideally, let them rest, because that risotto will still
Oh, lovely.
take on.
Thank you.
So squeeze the lemon. What have you got for us, Ollie?
Well, do you know what? With mushroom risotto, a lot of people would think, oh, there's lots of richness, lots of umami flavours, I might go for a red, but actually, especially with the cream and lemon, there is only one wine, and it is lightly oaked Chardonnay in this case. This one comes from Larzac in the south of France. There you go.
In just a second.
In just a
Thank you
second.
very
I
much,
will
Ollie.
hold it here for you at the end. And it's one of those wines that really just shows Chardonnay in all of its true magnificence. It's incredibly pure. They only age a portion of it in oak barrels. But even with the game, actually, I'd rather have a refresher than a dominant red. I think with a dish like this, a wine from France's Pays d'Oc is absolutely to be treasured.
Delightful.
Let's have a little glass. It's one of those wines that's made by a cooperative as well, so lots of farmers coming together. They're delivering, you know, a wine that's maybe punching above its price point because it's a collaboration.
Right.
Very nice.
You enjoying that, Tom?
Yeah.
That's wetting
yeah.
your whistle.
Gearing
Okay,
myself
Tom,
up
come and...
Wait till you enjoy the risotto, Tom.
yeah.
Rosie, you enjoying the wine?
It's delicious.
Come and try
yeah,
your
it's gonna
hell.
cut through the mushrooms really nicely.
Exactly.
Dive
Something
in.
light and refreshing.
It's got lots of mushroom flavour, but it doesn't have that texture.
I think
Right.
Tom's waiting
You
just
ready?
to dive
Here we
in.
go.
What should I just have a bit of...
Go for
Have a
it.
bit of the rice first.
So I should have said this is £8 from M&S. Gaston de Vaux Chardonnay. Lovely.
Cheers.
He's going in.
Going in.
Trepidation there.
Come on, have another glass of wine. Where's your vino gone, Tom? Here, come on. If you need it,
Is it...
it's there.
Well, I think they're definitely... I mean, I can taste mushrooms, but it's not...
Go on, find something nice, Tom. Find something nice.
It was all going so well. It's nice. Yeah. It's nice.
I said you sounded like Don Henley.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Anyway, that's all from us today on